in the world are on 1300 AM and 92.5 FM. Why do we play that soundbite? That was Mr. May, Drake May, the quarterback for New England. Here's my problem about the Super Bowl. We haven't even really mentioned the Super Bowl. It's amazing. It's Sunday. I root for both quarterbacks. I think May's a great kid, and he's so comfortable in his own skin to talk about how he feels about life, his religion. I think it's beautiful. I think it's great. And Sam Darnold, and I say this with kindness, I really do. If you've only lived in the state of Kentucky and you don't follow the New York media, Jimmy, I can't wait to see your reaction from this. The media in the state of Kentucky, the media in Lexington, the media in Louisville, it's a bunch of pussycats. I'm not degrading the media in the state. I promise you. I promise you. Unless you grew up there or have seen it, it's tough to understand. I'm not talking down to anybody. It is so ridiculous. They were so mean is not the word. Nasty is not the word. Brutal is not the word. I'm looking for the right word of how he got treated in New York, Sam Darnold. I mean, it would break most people. It really would. And what happens oftentimes is kids are drafted when they're just not ready. And dealing with the New York media is just ridiculous. He's through so much stuff. And I noticed this in Minnesota, and I bet Jimmy did too. I noticed it in Minnesota that he was really all of a sudden comfortable in his own skin. He was not comfortable in his own skin when he went to the Jets. He wasn't. He wasn't. And you would think, I'm not making this a Jet show, but you would think that the Jets would have the understanding of how New York can chop you up. The Yankees do. The Yankees understand a lot of players can't play in New York, but they couldn't handle New York. I get it. I get it. Visualize this. Okay, now you can't go to locker rooms in Kentucky, okay? But let's say, in the game or after a basketball game, there's a whole bunch of people, maybe 10 or 15 around. Rarely would be something that try to envision you're in a New York locker room and all of a sudden there's people around you waiting to get the microphone, standing and listening in case you say the wrong thing. And after all the people that can get something moved, there's another rush coming in. And ridiculous. They could have ruined Sam Darnold. And because I believe he doesn't give a crap what you think. He just cares what his teammates just think. I'm rooting for him big time. He's unflappable. I think he got two young kids that are unflappable. May's the second youngest ball. Some guy named Dan Marino. There on his wedding day, he really wanted to beat me up. I think in my book it's called The Day Dan Marino Won Me. I'm pretty sure. By the way, it's a true story. And I've never talked to Dan. Neither here nor there. When you survive New York, when they get dead, and I said it that way on purpose, and you make a name for yourself, and the general manager of Minnesota, one of the reasons he just got fired is because they won 14 games there. Okay? Unflappable. It's great. May is unflappable. It's great. So I don't know who the hell to root for. It's not like the Jets. Jimmy, you think in my lifetime the Jets will make the Super Bowl? I'm not taking the over.
I would not take the over.
I wouldn't take anything. Whatever. Bengals Radio Network, and there's certain things that are still, it's okay. Not a big deal. But I don't know about you, but I have a rooting interest. But Jimmy, can you see one? You're in the media, you get it. But if you haven't lived there, I know you're a San Francisco guy. San Francisco has its toughness. It's nothing compared to New York. So when Darnold got to from like crazy, oh my gosh, you could go in depression for life the way they treated him in New York. And so I like both these kids. Actually, I hope great. And then whatever happens, happens. And here's the last thing, and then I want you to the last thing. I know my fear is, and I'm using the word fear on purpose. My fear is if Darnold throws or loses, I promise you there'll be people in New York saying it's the same old Darnold. And what has always ticked me off since I was a kid, going back when the Minnesota got all the way to the last game and couldn't do it. Go to when Buffalo got to the last game, all those couldn't do it. It's like they were, even as a child. Was I a child then? I think so. I was young. Well, wait a second. How many big games did they have to game? And then I became the theory, and I still believe it. Sometimes it's better not to lose the Super Bowl. It's better to lose the game before because nobody kind of remembers it. Your local people do, but nationally, it's not the same damn thing. And so you're blank if you do and you're blank if you don't. And I really hope Darnold has a good game. Just because they will be so ruthless to him. They'll say, oh, he's the same old Darnold. So, Jimmy, your thoughts on the quarterbacks? You understand and can see the logic, at least, of why I'm rooting for both kids?
Oh, yeah. And the storylines are there. One loses. If it's Sam Darnold that loses, it's going to be exactly what you said. Same old Sam Darnold. If Drake May loses, we've been telling you all year their schedule was so easy. This is why Drake May coasted there. He didn't even deserve to be in the MVP conversation. All this. And with Sam Darnold, Peyton Manning was 30 years old when he won his. Darnold's 27. The way he's been talked about, you'd think he's 35 years old and he's been washed up for a decade when he got into the league with the Jets. And it, from an outside perspective looking in to the New York media, it seems like they thrive off athletes that fail. That's what they want. And I feel like that's not what the media should be.
How about being fans that are honest, not saying I'm going to rip you like crazy because is it 6 years? I'm not going to look it up. Don't look it up. Was it in his 6th or 7th year they finally won the NBA championship? I do remember there were some people saying that. This is Michael Jordan, for crying out loud. It was a long time. NBA championship, not just him. It's either 6 or 7.
Let's see. Yeah, it was 6 because he started in 84. They won it in 91. Or 7 years, yeah. 7.
In the 7th year, he hit NBA heaven. People are unfair. So a little Super Bowl stuff. Okay. Let's go to, and I just sent you the wrong name in a text. I'm thinking of Stoops. I want to talk about Stein. I'm going to mention Stoops. So I said to Jimmy, hey, would you get number one of Stoops ready? And he's going, Stoops about Mincy, and he's going, Cutler, what the hell are you talking about? And Jimmy was right, of course, and I'm wrong. Am I right 10% of the time when I send you notes and it's incorrect?
I'd probably give it 10%. Yeah. There's times where I've been wrong or I forgot something. I thought I got stuck in a weird time warp. And I was like, what? Is Stoops back? Did I make all this up? Is this winter storm a fever dream this whole time?
And this has been a long time ago. When there's a mistake made between the two of us, just with a normal up and back, Texas, hey, I'm doing this with that, can you get this, all that kind of stuff. If there's a mistake, I just assume it's my fault. There's too much history behind it. Okay, why was I thinking of Stoops? Now, this is going back in time, and I am curious, Jimmy, if you like this. I hope you do, because if you remember, the craziness of Billy Martin. Forget that. The drinking and the fights and the shouting and the beer commercial. If you can't forget that, Billy was a brilliant manager. He was a brilliant tactician. He was one of the smartest managers and can see ahead, and innings ahead, about as good as anyone in his time period. He often never got that credit because of the crap that he was involved with. If you can stay with that, one of the many times Martin got fired, they hired a guy named Bob Lemon, who was a great pitcher with the Cleveland 1954, which was one of the greatest rotations of all time. Bob was calm. Bob had his own way of managing where he was respected, but he was different. It's not exactly the way. Stoops is like Bob Lemon. He is. And Stein is like Billy Martin with age. Why am I saying that? Stein's really cocky. He's really cocky, and I like it. I like it. So if you're taking the word cocky and you're thinking it's negative, I'm sorry. That's not where I'm coming from. As I've said many, many, many times, in the instant history, you can't be 5'9" and play major college quarterback cocky. You won't survive. And by the way, I never saw him live in high school, Jimmy. Okay. And next would play a big game once, maybe twice a year. That kind of. I also know the people in Louisville's kid. This is way back when. Who the hell knew all this would happen? Nobody knew. This kid was 6'2". He'd played major college offensive coordinator, who, by the way, is now on his staff. Isn't that it? And I think that's what Kentucky has done. No idea if Mitch did that, and he did. I just can't imagine he did. But he is so cocky. This is a program. How many times did I say last year, Stoops, come talk. Stoops, don't say we'll see you in spring. Stoops, do different things. Stoops, push. And he wouldn't do it. And it wasn't part of his personality. Well, Kentucky needs something exactly opposite. Now, he's going to have to prove it. Question about it. You got to prove it. You can't prove it. It doesn't mean anything. The temperature in the program is an A+. Notice I'm saying temperature. I'm not saying how they're going to do. I'm extremely offensive line. I just do. So Stein, and we've requested to talk to him, and I would guess somewhere down the road, I'm told he will join us. It might be weeks. I think spring football hasn't been announced. I think it starts around March 10th. I would have joined us before March 10th. But the point is, he's now making the rounds on some online sites, some national online sites, and that this, who's that though? Let's go to clip number one, because besides Stein, what are you curious about? You're curious about Minchie. You're curious about the quarterback. Okay. And I got to tell you this, and I understand the comparisons, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like it. When you say quarterbacks who came down here and they had never played, and look how that turned out. I absolutely can't stand that. One kid has nothing other. Has nothing to do. It just doesn't. That about Joe Burrow, how did that work out? Everybody is different. Okay. And just because Minchie, that doesn't mean he won't flop. And that doesn't mean he won't be a great quarterback. And I'm open-minded to either. I'm not going to say, well, it was just like the quarterback in Georgia. I'd say the result is the same. A couple of quarterbacks who have been brought in, it just did. You got to look at the whole picture. So I have a fascination about Minchie. What I've seen, here is Stein talking about Minchie with, I think it's called Hot Take. It's a podcast.
Well, number one, I think as a whole, Kenny is a highly intelligent guy, loves football, and that's critical factor in quarterback. Then you look at really his style of play. The guy is extremely accurate. He ball field, and coming from a spot where quarterbacks have been developed. They've done a nice job there. I know their quarterback coach, their OC, but Kenny was a star. Just needed his opportunity.
But that's the podcast. Want to be fair, giving the proper credit because it was their thing. And actually, Jimmy, I watched a little bit. Those guys are pretty good. So good for them. And they either have a tie to Stein or it's a national thing. I was a little surprised that they went there. Okay. I'm not complaining, but I wanted to get the first interview. Did I do? Not a shot, and you know what? This is kind of interesting, and it's been a topic that's been talked about before. He's kind of answered before, and so there's agitation, and I'm okay. It's just normal stuff. And so he wanted to, okay, that was part of it. And his heroes is Dan Lanning, who was a great defensive coordinator at Georgia before he moved up. Okay, so one of the people that he relied upon was Lanning, and he gave up calling defense at Oregon. It's silly, but he gave up calling the plays. And so there's a mesh here that he's going through because Joe Sloan is on his way to being a head coach. Joe, a wonderful offensive coordinator, and he and Stein have been talking for years during the week and sharing stuff. It is natural that Joe will be here. And not only that the two of them can talk stuff out. And so this was important about Stein giving to Jimmy as to why he plays.
To me, you have a very close understanding and tight bond with those. Dan was highly involved in the defense. You can say what you want. He was. He also had a hand in our offense and our special teams. Him, one of the elite coaches in the country. And that is my goal here. Is it difficult? Sure. But I'm what's best for the team guy. And I know for me to be the absolute best head coach that I can be, to allow myself to recruit at the rate that I want to and acquire players and retain players, relationships with people in our community, and to build the team, that my focus needs to be just in that, the team. I'm not going to have a hand in our offense. No, we're deciding on what we're going to call. I'm very much in the decision-making processes on that. But, I'm excited about Joe. We've talked ball the last 3-4 years of our career, every offseason in the spring and then in the summer. He was a guy, right? We're both coordinators at big schools that we could rely on and just kind of pump each other up. Is it going to be hard? No, because I'm going to be talking trash to Joe now. Now I can, if we get sacked in practice by Jay Bateman and his scheme, then I can, I'm on both.
Sounds like it will be fun. I know it's a great answer. I really thought it was a great answer. Having fun while you're up, it's important. I thought it was also important with this soundbite to talk about how he didn't just was a great offensive coordinator. He's probably heard his name a long time, obviously, as an up-and-comer in the same age group and now another group of young coming up and moving up. But when you spend this much time commiserating during the week after your team's super, super, super strong. Jim, we're going to go to clip number 3. The rules are that Stein can't say the player's name. It took for me to figure it out, and it was not a genius on my part. Okay, driver, who is 6'6", no stomach, no fat on him. He was a football player of the year. You might recall that Justin Haddock, so I think the world of his great high coach, has won a gazillion national championships at Boyle County. He not only did the show, but had a basketball tape. Jimmy, I don't know how he is. I didn't ask, but his tough, I'm serious as a heart attack. Serious, because he's athletic, and he's strong. Right now in the Southeastern Conference of basketball. I am not kidding. And his movability. As a matter of fact, I think Justin Haddix will be fine with this when he sent me the little clip after he did the show, when I said thank you to him. He's a really good dude. He said, hey, Seneca Driver, he is a freak. Let's get to Stein. And so he can't say his name, but often, and I'm sure 99% of you understand this, when you're recruiting a football player, you can watch him play basketball or other sports and see Lorenzen play in the Sweet 16 in basketball. I love this competitiveness. He knew it. He was a role player and down the court, harder than anybody on the court. Harder than anybody in the court. I fell in love with Jared Lorenzen, the athlete, that day. And he and Smith, what a combination. What a combination. He played second fiddle to Smith, and Smith had a lovely career at Kentucky. But Jared did what was best for the team. And you just watch 5 minutes, and you knew we had tape of him. We had talked to him, all that kind of stuff. And said, if you can throw the, he was a ferocious competitor. So here's basketball. Coaches love to come see you play. This is the comment that Stein made about the interesting.
Like, I went and saw a kid play, and I know it's not football, but you could see his competitive spirit, his drive, and he's a 5-star type player. So you can still tell. You know about money, then it's not the right person for having these conversations. It's the adults. So I think you have to really differentiate the two, make sure that they are a football breathe it. You know, if they're not about ball, then this game's way too hard. It's way too physical. We spend too much time at the not to level we do. So I do think you can weed those conversations, or you can weed through those conversations. And then sometimes you get a kid on campus and they're on your team, and you almost find out within a year, and that sometimes does happen. So major key for us in recruiting is making sure that they like.
Great comment. I think like how he looked for it, and it's like anything else. Some coaches are better at looking for it than others. Is that it? I'm going to guess yes. We will see. Look, tampering time. The story that went on between after a Clemson player, and the Clemson player said no, and he was already enrolled in, agreed to be at Clemson, right, and was already taking classes, but they did not stop going after. And to me, that's past ridiculous. I don't know where the hell the NCAA does this. Okay, they know the story. You got to stop. You just have to stop. I've told you this a long time ago. There are players that are approached on the field after games. Agents are calling teams way before the season about, would you be interested in my player? Just keep the world. It just is. And you can't change it. There's no such thing as not cheating. Because as a matter of fact, I shouldn't even say cheating. I shouldn't, because it's free agency. Well, we want to take Christmas off and Thanksgiving off 5 days a year. This is a really good answer when Stein is talking about players.
It's crazy. You're right. And there's a lot of gray. Mostly gray, just to be quite frank. Your best job as a coach operating within the confines of the rules. I mean, you have to. I mean, that's why rules are in place, but the rules get skewed. Like, they change almost weekly, daily, sometimes yearly. So it's like, how do you keep up with this? You have to have really smart people around you, and you have to do the right thing. It's really simple. Like, I got one rule. Accountability is huge in our program. Be where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, doing what you're supposed to be doing with perfect effort. Like, take care of that thing in coaching. Like, do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. All right, be fine. It's hard. Guys hopping pre-portal. They are. It's not, coaches, I mean, agents for the season.
Wow. I know every bit of it. I don't think the public knows it, but I like how really, really, really good. We're going to take a break in a couple minutes. Just want to mention Brandon Ramsey, KSR, always good. My dear friend, and I already know that Jimmy has Talking Baseball ready to play for the introduction of Hal McCoy. And another Hall of Famer, Jim Andrews, who comes a great center for the University of Kentucky. I want to play one more thing before we go break. And I love this. I don't like this. I love it. And I love who it comes from. And in defensive player, it's off the charts. If I was, this is what I would do. And everybody's got different strokes, different folks. So has there been a more successful women's coach in the history of college basketball? In the last 6 years, has anybody more been successful than Dan Hurley? No. And so the two down and talked about their philosophy, recruit, and what I really liked is how they came to this point. They didn't always have this point. They made some mistakes. And if you think about it, it's not that Mark Pope doesn't know what to do. Excuse me, I'm not saying that. But everybody who's a coach is always trying to learn if you're any good, no matter how long you do it. Look, Nick Saban's his philosophy on offense late in his career, right? So if you think I'm being condescending to Pope, you're nuts, because I'm not. I still am. Last week at TV, I was still working on my stories, trying to get them better. That's my DNA. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time. I'm not going on a tangent on the is. And so I would love for someone to send this to, and if Pope ever comes on with us again, which I doubt, I'm marrying down now. I would ask him about this. I think this is the smartest way in today's world of basketball is.
I'm recruiting offense.
Oh, yeah.
I've made that mistake.
Yeah.
I will not make it. I'm recruiting offensive players that will be willing to defend for you, but I'm no longer going. That's
No. I've tried it. If you got enough guys that are going to score 1,000 points, you're going to win.
I don't know if all that was heard, but we tried it. And if you bring in a good defensive player, how to play offense. But if you can play offense and you're probably going to learn how to play defense. You might not be the best defensive player, but a lot of guys who are great offensive players become much more than suitable. And then there's some guys that are just so good athletically, it just really doesn't. And it's interesting how they both came to the conclusion in what they're doing. I would wish that. What I wonder how prevalent in Pope's mind. For most of the squad is not going to be here next year. And with all the talk about it, would seem to me I would want to gather a lot of shooters who are, and they might not be great defensive players, but if athletic, and most got a time shooting. So they're usually gym rats, okay? They're not afraid to be in the gym, and a lot of other players. And if you can sell them for their future on the court more, if you spend as much the way we teach it, while you bring the offensive game to town, I think it's a smart way to do it. I don't like it a little. I thought it was fascinating. Loved it. We're going to save this bite, and I don't know if we'll play it for Brandon, but we're going to play it again. I thought it was really that good. I tell you what is that good. The Quantrill deal are amazing. They've been great to me. They've been great to Judy for basically a decade. We have 3 cars from them. And don't forget about their Subarus and the deals that they have. And they just finished a deal where they had 0% financing on the 2025 Subaru Outback models. That deal was closed February 2nd. You missed it. But they'll have another deal. And I got to tell you, we have now the VC60. It's a hybrid with money because you get 41 miles in most days. My wife doesn't drive 41 miles. And if she does, so what? So use I'm 100% positive it's a gas totally. And that was basically because we took a trip. Really, that's what it was. And very little gas is used around here. We love the car. It's the best car we've had in 43 years of being together in marriage. So we loved it. And we had the Cadillac. Oh, my gosh. Talk about the perfect car on a road trip. Oh, it was just beautiful. Right. And we had a Cadillac before that. So the Quantrill family, they are wonderful. I trust them, and they're great. And they're a people organization who happen to sell cars. That's how I look. Ramsey coming up next. Thank you so much for tuning in. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Hi, this is Patrick DiGiacomo, and this is why I would recommend Republic Bank. So, when the bank manager brought me over just to show me how their ITM works, he hit this button where an actual live person came on the screen, and she was so kind and helpful, and it just made me feel like, wow, I'm not dealing with just a machine, I'm dealing with somebody that's actually paying attention to what I'm doing, and it made me feel really good.
And that's how Republic Bank helps their customers go from living to thriving. Learn more at republicbank.com. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler for my friends at Quantrill Cadillac. There's something unmistakable the moment you step into a Cadillac, the soft glow of the dashboard, the quiet power waiting beneath your foot. Every detail is designed to move you before you ever move. On the road, it's smooth, responsive, effortless. Advanced technology surrounds you. Performance responds instantly, and the world outside fades away. This isn't just driving, it's arrival. That experience is closer than you think. With exceptional offers in 0.9 APR for 60 months, luxury has never felt more attainable. QuattroCadillac.com. See dealer for complete terms.
Ooh, baby, it's cold outside.
Uncle Rick, warm yourself up with a hot coffee or cappuccino. And while you're there, be sure to pick up. We have Old Trapper 20-ounce kippered steak sticks. Buy one, get a box 16-ounce water free. And Uncle Ray's potato bags, 2 for $3.
I feel warmer already. Return, refresh, refuel.
To No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in talking about practice. Listen, not a game. We talking about practice.
Without a doubt, history of basketball. Allen Iverson, the Blur. I wish I saw him live courtside. I watched him on TV. Like, Cutler, you have no idea unless you're sitting courtside because TV doesn't do him justice. He moves, you basically can't see it. He's like a blur. Which was Dwight Anderson's, the late, great Dwight Anderson's name at Kentucky. So Brandon Ramsey, our friend at KSR, coach who does great video and chopping up and analyzing and dissecting what Kentucky does, good and bad. He's honest. He's a Kentucky filter attitude when he plays reporter. So when you heard that Kentucky, I respect the fact that Pope, it's not working, so he's looking to change. You can't do the same thing over and over again, expect the definition of insanity. Everyone heard it. So he changed practice, and they're being more aggressive in practice. I don't give a crap what it is if it works. And there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat. So when you did this, did you say, aha, the season might change, Brandon Ramsey?
I'm not so sure that I'm going to say that the season has magically changed because I do think there's a part of it that team is who they are. They are a good but not great team, and good but not great teams have some of the struggles that this team has had at different times in terms of getting blown out, getting down big in some games, all these different things. Like, it's not necessarily unique to Kentucky. It's what life is like for teams that are between like 20 and 35 nationally. And I think that's probably where Kentucky lies. But sure, you're always obviously trying to maximize what you have, fix a couple of the kinks in the armor, and find different ways to get better. And if it requires in late January, early February, changing up how you practice, how you prepare for games, if that can make a 5% better, 10% better down the stretch, then that's what you're fighting for at this point in the season. You're not reinvent the wheel in February, but can you get a little better? Can you maybe get yourself one more win? Those things can be big.
Did you anticipate being so clutch? I didn't in late games. I mean, he's 1 for 9 in a game, doesn't offense, shoots a shot from Danville with a huge 3. He's made some passes. He's made a steal. I mean, basically, of just about everybody on the team in the last 5 minutes in a clean, he has to be on the court. He does. He has become one of the most clutch players 10 years in the last 5. This is not a light thing. I'm not saying he's one of the best players in the last 10 years. I ain't going there because it's not true. It's not even close to being true. But in the last 5 minutes, whatever that gene is that you have, that winning gene, that clutch gene. And his explanation when he made the big steal, it was like he's a coach on the court. Hey, I heard something, I saw what was going on, and I just did it. Wow, he's really smart, and he's really cool. He's got ice in his veins. I think about the last 10 years, how many guys in the last 5 minutes have been.
Yeah, he has made some huge plays down the stretch, as you said, in several different games, becoming a trend. He didn't just make a great defensive read. He didn't just deliver a perfect at LSU. He didn't just hit a couple to help Kentucky seal or win a couple of these games. Like it is now a 3, 4, 5 game. It's funny because you think back. I mean, we're only a few weeks still removed from him playing against Missouri, Now, mind you, that's also a game that Kentucky choked down the stretch. So you might wonder what it could have been like if maybe he was in there a little bit. And obviously, that's revisionist history. But see, we've talked about it with Mo Diabate and stepped up in his different role. I think you're seeing it with Colin Chandler now. These guys that have been relegated to the bench at different times this year, and then through one reason or another, kind of gotten a larger role back. Now Colin Chandler is starting and excelling in his role. It's really good to see now as we finally and hopefully continue, knock on wood, to have lineup continuity, some rotation continuity. I think you're really starting to see some guys stand and excel in their roles, and Colin Chandler certainly is doing it at a very high level because he absolutely outstanding during this run where Kentucky's won 6 out of 7.
I don't know if you saw the footage. Hat tip to Stephen Peak. I had no idea until he sent the footage out because he sees that much on TV, and he had a wide of it. And when Pope got his lovely span of 38 seconds when Kentucky got 3 technicals, he was pissed at Pope. He was pissed. And by the way, it's okay. Let's. If anybody says I'm starting something with Chandler and Pope, no, that's part of life. That's part of basketball. You're allowed at your coach. Pope would think it's okay. It wouldn't be surprising if Pope didn't apologize to him. The point is, there's an up and back measure that I think on this team that can be very good. So somebody looking into this, I don't know why I'm saying it, but somebody looking into it, it's not there. I liked it tremendously that he is so tied in emotionally. The whole point of my conversation with you, he's so comfortable in his own skin. He showed his dismay and dislike being ticked off at his coach. Did you see the foot where he's talking? Oh, did you see it?
Yeah. I noticed it the same way you did when Stephen released that video of him coming over and kind of being like, hey, like we all need talking to Coach Pope in a way that's like, hey, we don't need to make this worse. We don't need to compound our emotions here and get more technicals and all this. Yeah, I thought that was really big of him, and showing some leadership and I think too it also shows the trust that Coach Pope has in the players to kind of say their piece a little bit. Like, you can be a player, but if you're in a situation where you're kind of always scared of saying something back to the coach, you're probably still not going to say it. So I think there's a level of trust and certainly a good relationship there between Colin Chandler and Coach Pope that matters. But yeah, I think above all else, I remember I was sitting there watching the game thinking after that stretch happened and Kentucky got down 4, I thought the game was over. Like I thought Kentucky had played so well, and then here we are down 4. This ain't going to work out. I mean, Bud Walton Arena is absolutely rocking at that point. Quite honestly, I thought Arkansas was the better team going in. They figured it out. That they got a little bit in the game, and the toughness and the poise that Kentucky showed in those final 11 minutes or whatever it was, quickly rebuild their own lead and go on to win it the way they did, was definitely the most Kentucky this season.
Absolutely. I mentioned it yesterday. When they got to the point and they were down, I figured exactly was okay. Hey, they played well. I hope it doesn't turn out to be a 25-point game. Really, you can go on a 15-0 run. And Arkansas is capable of what? They were down 13.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma, which is going to fire their coaches here and is recruiting enough for the money he has, but let's not go there. I don't want to go on a tangent. It's kind of sad he's a really good basketball coach. He's going to get his fanny fired, but he gets a parting gift of millions of dollars. So I shouldn't be so sorry for him. But the point, you're looking at what they're doing. Game was absolutely over. They gave it their best shot. Now you've got the entire crowd in wild and crazy, and these kids, they fought back. And I'm watching this thing. I'm going, there's no way this should happen. And there are very few teams in this country. There aren't a lot of teams in the top 10 in that kind of situation. When you have the lead, you blow it, and the carry that you're going to come back and win. Now you have a team not in the top 25, and they did it. And if that doesn't give you confidence, Brandon Ramsey, I don't know what the heck does.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first team to win. Like there's a reason why they haven't been at home, is because even when they do face a little bit of adversity, they have little runs like that. They get ahead. They kind of figure it out the rest of the way down the stretch. It hasn't always been pretty for them. I mean, heck, they struck at Arkansas. They had a few other very close games at home this season, but they always found a way to win. And thought we saw, well, this was their ticket to winning this game, and the tides have turned a little bit. A team that, quite frankly, we've seen them roll over a couple. They kind of rolled over and just got Gonzaga and Vanderbilt. But then we've also seen their resiliency and their ability to fight back with some of the double-digit comebacks that they have come back against Arkansas. So I'm really proud, especially what we saw on Tuesday, to see the tougher of this team on Saturday in probably the toughest environment they've seen all season, maybe the toughest environment they will all season. That was absolutely huge for their confidence moving forward as well.
Brandon Ramsey at KSR, I'm not sure I'm going to change my mind, but the fact I'm thinking about it makes me want to quiz you on this. And so for a long time, as a lot of fans are saying, there's something wrong with the training here, all these injuries. It's not just bad luck, it's something else. It's got their own opinion. I'm all good with that. And I would say, wait, I was there when Lowe hurt his shoulder. That fall was ridiculous. Okay, I'm an expert on shoulders. Maybe not a lot of things, but I'm an expert on shoulders. I'm not surprised the way that thing smashed and collapsed. Okay, and what happened to Butler? He got hit. He's a strong man. Okay, and I'm not being disrespectful. He's just not a strong kid. Butler is a strong. They got him. They kept on going after him. But Brandon Hawthorne just tweaked an ankle. Owe tweaked an ankle before Arkansas, and I got to tell you, I'm not dart at the trainers. I'm not, but I'm questioning. Things go in cycles. So is this just a really bad cycle? I mean, I'm not going to go through the list of all the players everybody knows and stuff like that. When you start putting it all together, my gosh, since Mark Pope has been here, how much luck does he have injuries and stuff like that?
It's crazy. Yeah. When you line them all up and when you read them off sort of one by one of, so-and-so missed this game, so-and-so missed this many games, and we've had this injury, that injury. Yes. You start to think like, all right, how can this be a coincidence? Because there are coincidences that last this long and affect this many people. But then also my kind of, I don't know if it's the rational side or what, but the other says like, it doesn't make any sense that it's the training staff. I mean, first of all, we're talking about like I'm not smart enough. I'm not around enough to know if Brandon Wells is the best trainer in the world. I don't know, but he has the job at Kentucky. I'm assuming he has a travels him to be doing a pretty good job. Imagine that it's something inside the room that is really leading to additional injuries. Sure, do you kind of want to blame it on something or someone and not as bad luck? Yes, but I kind of refuse to do that still. And maybe I'm the one that's wrong. Maybe as hard as it is to call it a coincidence, as hard as it is to call it bad luck, I just can't see it being other things, especially when these things like they're freak non-contact injuries, or some of them are super hard contact injuries where it's like, well, yeah, that why he got hurt. I can see how it happened. So yeah, I'm really not placing hardly any blame really on the training room.
I'm not either. I'm just questioning. It's just kind of strange. I will tell you this. I think it was Winston Bennett who joined us a month or two ago, and everybody back then will tell you, if he didn't have his knee ripped horribly, he would have played in the NBA forever. I mean, forever. I'm pretty sure it was him. If not, it was somebody from that era who came on the show and said, one of the national guru specialists, there's a couple, and I don't want to name the wrong one, looked at the weightlifting at Kentucky, and they deemed there was a certain exercise that exposed the knee. A number of players on Kentucky decades and decades ago were doing an exercise that they deemed really bad for the knee, and they immediately stopped. For folks, my thing is, and I'm standing by this, too much weightlifting going on. I really do, and you can say, Cutler, shut up, you know what we're talking about, I actually do. And I've told you this example. I'm doing a bunch of Japanese things. It's not about me, Tai Chi and stuff like that. I had to change some. It's helped me tremendously. Forget about me. The young man Yamamoto. Jimmy? Am I have that name right? The pitcher for the who won those three games, stuff like that. Have you ever seen the video?
I don't know the video you're talking about.
Unbelievably strong. Never lifts a weight. He does exercises with his body. He does finger push-ups with his fingers, and with one hand, with his fingers, holds up his whole body. And so when I look at a guy like Stanton, I know I'm getting away from this, but there's a point here. When I go to Stanton for the Yankees, he pulls his muscles all the time. He's so muscle bound, it's unbelievable. I don't know if he's still doing it, but a couple of years ago, they told him to stop lifting weights, and he was using bands to stretch it out. You know he's going to rip his leg. He does it every year because he's too tight. He's too wound up. And strength is hugely important, but it's how you do it. And I've been doing a lot of research on Japanese exercise, and I think they're ahead of us. And I don't know why the hell we're not copying. The point is this: I'm not accusing Wells of anything. Not at all. I have no right to. I have no knowledge to, and I should shut up if I did. Who the hell am I to do it? I want to make that clear. But you have to wonder what's going on, and maybe it's just really bad luck. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Is that yes, it seems like there should be an answer when there's this many injuries to this many people. But yeah, at the same time, I just, especially having been around college training rooms and things, I just find it hard to really lay the blame at their feet. But if this continues for another year, another 2 years, who knows? Maybe I'll change my tune. But at least right now, I just can't really get there.
One of the positive things against Arkansas, and Arkansas was very good at this too, with all the intensity involved, Kentucky only had 7 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was powerful. Yet again, I know Arkansas sucked when it came to shooting free throws. Kentucky sucked as well. And had they lost that game with that percentage, I would have blamed it on free throw shooting. I don't stop talking about free throws because it's free throws. And if you can't shoot 75% and you lose the game, and I don't care that Arkansas shot worse, you can't be concerned about it. It helps you, but you can't be concerned about it. And I don't know what the heck they're doing. You could say they've probably lost a couple of games because of free throw shooting. And so I don't know what you do about it. Jim Master's helping them out, whether it's Jim Master or Kyle Macy, whatever. I don't know what's in their heads. But as you look at the shooting percentages, it's not good. You're a coach. You do when you were coaching in college if your kids throw shooting percentage. I know it's a boring topic about winning, and you're talking about trying to get all the advantages that you can.
Yeah, probably an hour or so before I came on the show, I tweeted something out about Kentucky's free throw shooting. Non-conference play, he was 202 of 270. That's 74.8%. In SEC play, they're 162 of 232, 8%. So they've dropped 5% from what they were shooting in the non-conference to what they're shooting in the SEC, from 74.8 to 69.8. 69.8 stinks. Like, that's terrible. That is going to get you beat at some point. If it hasn't already, it's going to happen. You cannot shoot 69.8% from the free throw line and expect to win high-level SEC games. Otega Owe himself, in the non-conference, 50 of 62, 80.6%. In SEC play, 43 of 66, 65.2%. So credit to him, he's already shot more in 4 less games than he did all in non-conference. That's a good thing. And Kentucky in general is shooting more free throws in conference play. Getting to the foul line is part of it, but then you got to convert. And when you see your best player shoot so much significantly worse, when you see the team shoots so much significantly worse, it is worrisome. I mean, that they are playing with fire at the free throw line. I think they're down into they're now 72 something, I think, as a team at this point now, 72.5 to 179th in the country. That stinks too. It's gotta get better. And like I've never had a remedy other than like we would just shoot a ton of free throws. Like, you got to make 50 before you can leave the gym after practice, or you got to come in at shoot around. You got to come in when you have an hour out off of class, and you got to make 100 free throws. We're going to track it over the course of the week. We would, put everybody at the line and call somebody out. Hey, you got to make 2. If you don't, we're running. Those sort of things. Like, just simulating some pressure, just shoot a bunch of them in the gym by yourself and kind of find that rhythm, and then try to transfer that to a game. It's tough. Like you're not changing people's shooting form. Like, they all know how to shoot free throws, generally speaking. We just talked about it. Like, this team was making nearly 75% for quite a while. Otega Owe was making 80% for a while. Like, the free throw line didn't change in SEC play. They just gotta, focus and find a way to make them, because it is going to cost them at this point. And quite frankly, Kentucky's margin for error is not such that they can afford to be a bad free throw shooting team.
I think a lot of teams don't have a lot of margin for error. I missed your tweet prepping for the show, but I see your stuff. I even have you. You're one of my alerts.
There we go. That's awesome.
I do, because, well, your stuff is really good. It's a pretty simple. I keep it simple. You're really good, so why wouldn't I? And when I steal your stuff, what do? I tell you, hey, I'm stealing your stuff. I'm going to mention your name on the show.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm an honest thief, which is what you should be. And I try to give attribution to anybody if they come up with something that I didn't know. If you come up with something that I already knew, I'm not going to give you credit. And I got no problem with that. So I'm so glad. I really am. And Cal, even basically said, geez, we got to make a free throw. Free throw. They were horrendous. And there was a look on Cal's face on a cutaway. One of his kids, I don't remember who, airballed a free throw. And the look on his face was like, I could see him saying, if I open my mouth now, I'm going to regret what I'm going to say. I don't have the solution. I just don't. But you look at things, Cam Williams was 95% before he broke his foot. That's unbelievable. Chandler is at 85%. Aberdeen is at 80%. Otega was down to 72%. But there's some of these kids that I'm going, do I want them in the game late? By the way, Jasper's at basically 91%. Some of these kids, Brandon Garrison, free throw line. I don't trust Brandon when he's in the game. I don't mean to be mean. There are certain they feel for their sport. And by the way, that doesn't mean they're not brilliant in other areas. He just doesn't seem to have a feel. He's going to jack a three up. He took a three the other day, early in the shot clock, and I'm looking at do they not talk to him? Does he not get it? I mean, he's only, look, thank goodness he shot 11 this year. He's only shooting 18%.
Yeah. Probably be told, hey, you're in the 5-second club. Like, you and Mo open with 5 or fewer seconds on the shot clock, you can shoot a three. Otherwise, you are to not. That Coach Pope likes doing that, and maybe that's a problem at this point because you're wasting possession. We wouldn't tell Brandon Garrett more or less what he or Mo Diabate is doing when they do shoot it. To Mo's credit, he's mostly stopped shooting clock against Arkansas. That's different. But he's mostly stopped shooting them. And it does seem like that you can sort of bait Brandon Garrison into taking one. Like if you just leave, especially early in the game, if you just leave him wide open, take one and, not to G, but, it seems to be a good one right now.
Bait, that's a perfect word. By the way, quick math in my head, Garrison is shooting like 63% if you take out his threes. As of the other day, was over 60%, well over 60% if he's not shooting threes. He's at 11%. Basic out of time, last Ukrainian that we didn't talk about would be...
Big up again. Kentucky is not so quietly, I don't know, building a pretty good resume. I said it the other day, after 8 teams in the country that have more... I don't think any of us feel like that necessarily. I don't think that we level of a resume, but that's what the stats are telling us right now. So I care business at home, which you have to do on Wednesday, and then you kind of get a quad 1 win on Saturday. Sweet C, you start to put yourself in a stronger than anticipated position, and I'm anxious momentum rolling. But looking forward to 2 big games in.
Put it this way, you should never lose to a team who they're coaching unless all of a sudden they start winning 7 in a row.
That's correct.
And I actually really like the coach. I think he's a good basketball guy. The stupidity. He's in all coach and they didn't hire him, which was one of the dumbest things I've seen. And then he goes to Oklahoma where it's a different level of doing it. Yeah, I never understand when a Boise State coach, that's what the hell they think.
The funniest part about that, Alan, is that the best player he's had at Oklahoma is from Chicago, Jeremiah Fears.
Yes.
Like, he would have gone to play for him at DePaul.
Oh my gosh, had he gone to DePaul? I'm not saying he'd have a lifetime contract now, but there would have been an extension in there somewhere.
Yes.
I don't mean to rip athletics directors as much as I do, and some of them are great human beings and do a great job. No freaking common sense at all.
Yeah.
You're not touching that. Really.
That's true.
No filter answer. God bless you, Brandon. Give yourself a hug. I wish people saw your smile. You are grinning ear to ear like, Cutler, really?
Yeah, I can only say so much right now.
See, the other thing, you know what it reminded me of? You've heard the old story where a guy's, painting his house and he's painting the floor and he starts by the door and he's in the corner and then he looks up and says, how am I going to get out of here?
Right. Exactly.
I apologize.
All good. Twitter at BRamseyKSR. All the written work goes on KentuckySportsRadio.com. Go subscribe to the Kentucky Sports Radio as well. Have a new episode of me and Zach Gagan's Zoom action tomorrow. And then subscribe to the Brandon Ramsey College Basketball Show on YouTube as well. And again, all that gets promoted through my Twitter at BRamsey.
Brandon, I appreciate it. And thanks for reminding me about Zach this week.
Perfect. There we go.
Why have I not asked Zach to do the show recently? Thank you, and I apologize for pain.
Anytime, Alan. Thank you.
So I'm not worried about you.
Hey, that's right.
Bless you, man. I always appreciate you.
Yeah.
Jimmy, did you see that I saw him look? I said, It's a conversation. I don't grill guests. I really don't try to, and that went a little too. I apologize. You see the look on his face?
I did.
Yeah, you shouldn't have gone there. It's a log. Now, in like a week, the Jonathan Davis will be on later this week. We're friends, so he forgave me, and he was all good with it. But I got a look, and guess what? Deserved the look. I did. And you, Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914, 859-533-0914. Now also providing a licensed massage therapist, Ramon Carriego. God bless him. He's helped me out. Seriously, he's helped me out so much. It's off the chart. Stuff got to be working on. I'm 73 and I'm trying to get as healthy as I humanly can. And I got some fix myself. It's all good, but he has helped. I trust brilliant. He is brilliant and he can help. It is absolutely off the chart. Please use him. Please use my name. On Versailles Road, 859-533-0914. My dear friend Hal McCoy, Hall of Fame coming up next. Alan Cutler, third FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler for Auto Group.
Exceptional offers, including 2.60 months on select models. Luxury has never felt. Visit QuattroCadillac.com. See.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in, what are your needs? And I don't know that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to member FDIC.
Ooh, baby, it's a
Uncle Rick, warm yourself up with the Hot and Chop.
Kappa what?
Cappuccino. Be sure to pick up some of our in-store specials. We have Old Trapper 20-ounce Kippered steak sticks. Buy one, get a bottle of Clark's 16-ounce water-free. And Uncle Ray's potato chips 8-ounce bags, 2 for $3.
I feel warmer already. Clark's Puppet Skill.
W223CV Lex. ESPN Sports Radio 1305, WLXG Lexington, and LM Communications Broadcasting Station. The only no-filter sports show in Kentucky. It's the Alan Cutler Show with award-winning TV sportscaster Alan Cutler.
We're talking baseball, Campanella talking baseball, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke.
I love this song, and I love talking to Hal McCoy. But baseball is here. The Hall of Fame. Go to Cooperstown and go, Corey. He's there forever. Hello, Hal. How are you, my friend?
Hello, Alan, my friend. And baseball air can't be better.
Oh, man, something brilliant. How many times do we say this? Suarez gets, sounds so stupid, $1 million. I can't believe all the have paid that and didn't. He is a great home run hitter. He's great in the clubhouse. And the option goes both ways next year for $16 million. Apparently, there's a press conference going on where he just was about where you want to be. I don't like this signing. I love this signing. He will help out he will take the pressure off everybody. And if a couple of these kids not only take a step up, but like he's healthy and stuff like that, I really think they have a great shot at second place.
Agree with that about the second place. I like the signing of Suarez, and I'll tell you why. He's a one-dimensional home runs. He's not a defensive strikeout 200 times. You mentioned it. He is a great guy. I have never seen anything but a smile on his face. Clubhouse loves him, and to me, that's the main thing the Reds really needed was a clubhouse, a veteran he is that guy. And he loves Cincinnati. I remember when they traded him, when I talked to him, he cried. I love Cincinnati. I thought I would end my career here. Now I'm being traded. And he said something very wise at the time. He said, well, perhaps I can come back to Cincinnati and finish. It looks like that's what he do. But at least the Reds have done something. And $15 million, as you said, but yeah, to us it's a lot of money. In baseball, it is not, and he fits right in with the Reds in that point. But I also wonder why only the Reds and the Pirates were interested in signing him. I mean, the guy hit 49 home runs, drove in 118 runs last year. Now, he is 35 years old, but he wanted to give him a long-term contract. But it's worth it. He was the best power hitter left out there. And
last 5 years, Hal, he has 100 runs. And the 49 he did last year tied his career high. What I thought was really special when he was traded from Arizona back to Seattle, the clubhouse went crazy. The fans went crazy. They were so happy to have him back because he was loved in Seattle. And so, look, by the way, Schwarber, I looked this up because I was a little surprised. Schwarber got the big contract. Everybody knows that. Ohio boy, the whole thing, Reds trying to get him. It was almost disingenuous, I think, but we've talked about it. But the point is, Schwarber strikes out more than Suarez, by the way. He did last year.
I think it was, yeah, right.
And so they're both terrible in striking out. About it, and their on-base percentage stinks. Both have equal range in the field.
You sound like you read my piece this morning. I compared him with Schwarber and listed all the same things that you're bringing up.
I swear to you, I not, and I quote you all the time when I do, but I know a little, and I'll read it later. And shame on me.
No, it's great. Think alike, as you say. And I pointed out, I compared Schwarber with Suarez and said, "What's a wash between the two?"
And thank you, great minds think alike. Schwarber apparently got like 135 million more.
Right.
It's better to have Suarez and Schwarber. It's a bad year. You're only on the hook for 16, right? And the second thing, if Schwarber had a bad year after 2 years, you're on the hook for almost $100 million. This is a steal. To me, this is one of the best signings in all of baseball in the offseason. And think about it. Pitchers and catchers are about to report every single year, not just with the Reds, how many moves are made this late for any particular team. And I say this to myself all the time, and I know you do. Well, this is a really good move for this particular club. Why the hell didn't they do this for? Why didn't they let this player stay out there that long when this guy could really help? Why wait?
I think it's the players. They wait to see what's out there and what they can get, and wait till the last minute, and then sign up with somebody. That's the only reason that I can see that. I think teams do, make offers to these guys, and they wait and they wait and they wait to see if they can get a better offer. And then when it's about time to report, they decide, hey, I sign up with some team and get ready.
This is the most excited I've been about the Reds in a long time. I'm not saying World Series. I'm saying they should make the playoffs. And then, if their starting staff, which is, you pitch well in a short series, and guess what? Anything can happen. I'm trying to remember the last time I was this excited here on 1300 AM and 92.5 FM. I remember the last time I was this excited about the Reds. Talk me down if I'm wrong.
Well, you're absolutely right about being excited about the prospect. I think even before they got Suarez, they had a chance to finish second in the Cubs. They still might have to beat out Milwaukee. Milwaukee always finds a way. But I thought even had a chance. Now I think he's capable of. That even solidifies it even more that they've got a shot at it and making.
I picked it for second place last week, and now I'm just solidifying it much more, just much more. But you're right about Milwaukee, and I say come up with players that sometimes surprise you. They're the Tampa Bay of the, and they've done a wonderful job, just wonderful job doing that. I have one fear. Fear is too strong, Hal McCoy. I have one fear about the Reds screwing something. You end up agreeing with me. You ready?
I'm ready.
If they don't let Sal Stewart get 5, if he starts going 0 for 30 or something like that, or 2 for 30, and they have to send him back down, let's forget about that. And it's the rookies all the time. They sent Mickey Mantle down. Sometimes guys got to. He doesn't need an extra adjustment. He's 500 at bats, whether it's DH, third. I don't know if he can play left. He's not a great fielder, but he's lost a whole bunch to do. He could be a power. Now all of a sudden with the Reds, if McClain is healthy and Cruz's brain is okay, now all of a sudden the Reds, a lot of home runs. And if Steer is healthy, they get guys who can hit at least 20 home runs.
If he doesn't play first base regularly, they're nuts. He's got to play first base regularly. I would have him in the lineup. I would have Dela Cruz batting third, Suarez batting fourth, and Saul batting fifth. And they'll hit a whole lot of home runs and drive in a whole lot of runs.
I agree. The order and everything. I guess my only thing is that Steer is a really, really good first baseman. And if you stick him in the left, he's not as good of a left fielder, but Stewart can hold his own at first and Steer can hold his own. Do you agree with that analysis?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And they're deep. They're deep in pitching.
That's the thing. As they say, you can never have, and they have more than enough. And I hope that they don't get rid of too many of them, because pitchers have a habit of breaking down. The rotation is solid, and they have 3 or 4 guys who won't make a rotation that could, and so don't get rid of too much pitching, because you never know what's going to happen.
My chief complaining about the other thing, a young man who has Cy Young potential, knows how it'll be, but he's got the stuff. And then we'll see he's going to win a Cy Young in his career. I'm saying he has the right potential and stuff. There are some people saying he won't start, which drives me nuts. I've seen it in a couple players. He throws over 100 miles an hour, and he came up last year, and if you're not starting him, instead of sending him down to Louisville, stick him in the bullpen and see how he doesn't start, but I see all the numbers. And they have 1 or 2 other guys who are veterans like a Williamson and stuff like that, hurt, that if they don't make the starting rotation, some of these guys have to be in AAA because you got to get them stretched out as a starter. I get that. Everybody.
Right.
But I would put 1 or 2 of these guys in the bullpen, and they might be much better than the guys they have now. Is that crazy?
I agree, but if they don't make Chase Burns number 5 starter, they are crazy with what you saw last year. I mean, he was 0-3, had a 5, but he gave up 7 runs in an inning when he was tipping his pitches against the Red Sox. That ballooned his ERA run support in other games. He struck out 14.9 hitters per 9 innings. No man of 8 games. No, not Nolan Ryan, not Bob Gibson, nobody, not Sandy Koufax. Nobody has ever averaged 14 over 8 straight starts, and he did that. To me, he's got to be in the rotation.
Well, they got a problem, Hal. You got a guy who I liked when they got him. I thought it was a really good trade for the Reds. He eats innings up, and I didn't like India as a player. I said that many times, and he is who he is. Good guy to have in your team, but it was by subtraction, like Lux was addition by subtraction. And they're both supposed to be really good guys. I'm not being negative. But you're paying Singer $12.5, $13 million. You can't have him coming out of the bullpen. They won't do that politically. Chase Burns is going to be the odd man out unless he deserves that spot more than Singer. And I trade him because they want to have extra arms. Tell me the logic of that.
Well, I've got Singer in the rotation. Green, Lodolo, Singer, and Burns. That would be my rotation.
Well, I like that perfectly. I'm as to who I was thinking about that they would put ahead of Burns. Do me a favor. Would you do me a favor? I want you to call Tito right now. You're friends with Tito, and tell Tito you don't start this. I'm going to blow cigar scarf smoke in your face. Go ahead. I want you to do that.
Well, he's a cigar smoker. He wouldn't mind that.
Probably like it, actually. He'd probably like it.
Probably.
I'm not saying it's the best in baseball. I'm not getting silly on you.
One of the best.
Top 10. Would you agree?
Right. I think it's one of the best. I'd say top 5.
Okay. I'm going to guess 4 or 5.
I'm that optimistic about them. Yep.
I need to go look. And it certainly ain't the Yankees with all their injuries. And it certainly ain't the Mets. I mean, you can go down the list and down the list and down the list and down the list. I'm biased about this guy because he's local. He's a great young man. He had, for the first 4 or 5 years, one of the better starts, percentage-wise, wins-wise, that we've had in a long time. There's no question about it. And he had a bad year last year, but he's a year further away. And I honestly don't know his health. But I'm surprised that Walker Buehler doesn't have a job. Help me out here.
Yeah, I agree. But I think the injuries play a big part, especially on pitching. That makes everybody pretty skeptical.
He signed for what was a cheap price for what he'd done in the past with Boston and didn't do well. and got I'm not speaking for him. He's a local kid, Henry Clay, the whole thing. He's a wonderful young man. He really is. It's not about money for him. And I think he would sign a contract that was huge incentives not to push a team to the wall. I could be wrong, but I think you could sign him cheap. But if he did really well, pay the man.
Yeah, right. Well, it's refreshing that there's a young man who is not all about the Benjamins and, wants to play Major League Baseball because he loves the game. That's very refreshing.
Yeah, and I'm not speaking for him, and I haven't talked to him, but I know something about him. So I want to be fair that I have no inside information about this, but he took a ton less than he would have gotten had he been healthy because the Dodgers didn't want to pay him. Dodgers wanted to keep him, but they didn't want to pay him. And I understood that. And Boston gave him much less, but he was terrible in Boston. He just was. Boston, as you know, doesn't have a lot of patience like New York doesn't have a lot of patience, like Philadelphia doesn't have a lot of patience. And I really thought some team would give him a shot if on a low salary with huge incentives. And I'll give you a team, Pittsburgh, who's spent some money on some players, and they still need some starters. They're going with a bunch of kids, but he also is a guy to help people. So let you sign him. Let me throw a number out there, which easy for me to say. It's not a lot of money for $8. Okay. And the incentives are crazy good. And by July or by the trade deadline, he's not the best pitcher in baseball, but he's back to his old self, which means he's a really good pitcher.
Right.
You could trade him to a contender, and instead of getting bodies like you get in some when it's a rental, you could probably get some real big time prospects for good. Now I see that. Other teams don't see that.
Well, probably not. But like I say, based on Dunn and the injuries he's had, but the Pirates should hire you as general manager. You solve their problems.
Oh, I want to screw up the Reds first. Actually, the Pirates had a pretty good offseason. Actually, for them, they had a great offseason. For them,
they did. They are going for it.
Yeah, they really are. It's like, where has this been?
Yep.
Okay, so Suarez says he got a text from Pagan and De La Cruz, among others, which is really cool. What about the Reds? Is it the 9th? Is it next week, the pitchers and catchers report, I think? It's
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
What about do you really like, and what else about the Red Hal McCoy? What else are you concerned about?
Well, I'm still a little bit concerned about the bullpen. I know they've gone out and got some guys, but you don't know. But as we've been talking about, love starting pitching. Concerned about scoring runs. They're going to rely on the home run ball. Help that. De La Cruz, let's hope he's back from his. I just want more. They pulled back on still trying last year, and I didn't understand. That's another thing I would tell Tito to his face. Put them on the move. And the rules are now in your favor. The year before, they stole a lot of bases. You got to manufacture some runs. You can't rely on the home run all the time. That concerns.
I saw a quote from Tito the other day where he said he doesn't want to run.
Yes, you take. I mean, they pulled back last year, but their success rate about the same as the year before. They just times stole fewer bases, but their success ratio was about the same. So really wasn't running.
Quickly reading your column now as we're talking, and the first thing you have, I knew it was bad. I had no idea it was this bad. So kudos to you. And how many times have I said, every time Hal comes on, I think it's every time I come on, I say, if you follow baseball and the Reds and you don't read Hal on Facebook, I can't help you. I read all your columns. It's the second you put them up, but I read all your columns. Okay, so this is what you today. When the Reds hit at least one home run in a game last year, they were 58 and 36. Here's the one that really got to me. When they hit no home runs a game, they sucked. 25, 44 losses. Everybody in baseball with a worse split than that, I can't.
No, I can't imagine that either. That's another reason why they stay there to run the bases more and manufacture.
Suarez, 49 home runs, 118, 133 RBIs. And you know what? Google messed me up. I apologize. I saw on Google that Schwarber had struck out more. You have Suarez struck out 199 and Schwarber 197. They both sucked.
Right.
Striking out.
Right.
You're not having.
They both.
on base percentages.
Yeah, they're very, very similar.
Really are for tons.
Yep.
Keep Brian Hayes. The number, Kate, he actually is one of the few players that wins you a lot just with his glove. You got to bat him ninth. Can he hit?
Yes.
Enough? Because there are times when he comes up and I'm radio, I'm going, oh my gosh, he's an automatic out, which is cruel, but it's often how I feel.
True. Absolutely true. It's why he bats ninth. And the only reason he's in the lineup is because of his glove. He's Bird, which probably one of the reasons they let him go. He's a lot of games. He's fantastic at third base. So, he's half a player, but he's really good at the half that he excels in.
And if games, it makes up for the other. Okay, play a little game with me. Here's your lineup. You got Matt McClain, Ellie Suarez, Sal Stewart, Spencer Steer, Tyler Stevenson, this potential, and Hayes. Okay, I'm looking at your lineup. McClain, Cruz, Suarez, Stewart, Steve, Marte. 7 guys that should hit, if they're not hurt and they get enough at bat, use the qualification, 7 of the 9 guns, and they
20 home runs. I agree.
And they should average way more than that, because you would think Ellie would hit some more if he's healthy. I think McClain's going to have a breakout year. They might average on those 7 guys 20 home runs plus. I think it's absolutely possible. If I'm right, if possible, this is a big winning organization this year. Yes?
Yes, I think I've got Suarez down for 35 home runs and Ellie for 30.
Okay.
And both of them are capable of hitting more.
See, I see Stewart hitting 25, Steer hitting 22 to 26, Stevenson 22, 23. I think Marte will hit 30. And if Hayes hits 20, happy.
Yeah, Marte is a question. A lot of talent and a lot of ability, and he's capable of having a big year. And I've got him down pretty low in the batting order, and he could move up. But I'm like you. McClain batted down lower in the batting order all last year, but I think he's going to bounce back and have a good year, and I think he belongs order behind Friedel.
I do too, and apparently shoulders and stuff like that, which doesn't surprise me. They're like crazy, and he heard and one of these things, and unfortunately, he was warned that the first year after surgery would not be pleasant. And now, as long as he's healthy, there's no Steer had a shoulder problem, and he should be healthy now. Anything else, the Reds, that sticks out that you want to talk about?
I think we've covered it pretty much. I mean, they should be ready to hire you as general manager and me as assistant general manager, and we'll get them to the World Series.
Look, be very happy you were general manager. I was assistant. So God bless you, buddy. God bless you. You're one of my favorite people in the world. Relationship has grown this way. I'm talking baseball with you, Hal.
The feeling is mutual, my friend. My wife and I are from Friday going on a Caribbean cruise for 8 days. When I come back, I will be ready to rumble.
Well, have a great time. Make sure you do suntan oil, and make sure as you're on the deck, smoke some really great cigars for me.
There's no doubt about that, Alan.
Bless you, Hal.
Thank you, buddy. Take care now.
See ya. Jimmy, I love talking to Hal McCoy. Hal McCoy. Is he the best? Literally, is he the best?
He is. And it makes me excited for baseball when you send the stories from Hal McCoy.
Did you hear her laugh?
I did.
Did you my laugh?
I could see her peeking around the corner.
So you saw her before I. Are you trying, young lady? Are you trying to sneak up? Who are you smarter than? Who are you going to point at? Are you prettier than me? Something you want to say? Never seen you shy. Oh, Jim Andrews coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300. You say, do this. Can you say 0.5 FM?
92.5 FAM.
FM.
FM.
Okay.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group, life.com.
Or have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313, 1313.
Hey, I'm Dale Wise. I've just retired. I know that the electronics, if you don't get away from you, can get real confusing. Republic Bank's app, I use their app, and it is so easy to use. I log in with my fingerprint. so it's super easy. I don't have to remember 50 million different passwords.
Hey,
And
Jimmy.
it lays it out just real.
Sales story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. FDIC. Data rates may apply.
Hi, at Quantrell Cadillac. There's something unmistakable the moment you step into a Cadillac. The soft glow of the dashboard, the quiet power waiting beneath your foot. Every detail is designed to move you. Every move on the road, it's smooth, effortless. Advanced technology surrounds you. Performance responds instantly, and the world outside. This isn't just driving, it's arrival. At Quantrell Cadillac, that experience is closer than you think, with exceptional offers including 2.9 APR for 60 months on sales. Luxury has never felt more. Visit QuantrellCadillac.com. See dealer for complete terms.
Ooh, baby, it's cold outside.
Uncle Rick, warm yourself up with a hot coffee or cappuccino at Clark's Pump and Shop.
Kappa what?
Cappuccino. And while you're there, be sure to pick up some of our in-store specials. We have Old Trafford 20-ounce bottle of Clark's 16-ounce water-free and Uncle Ray's potato chips 8-ounce bags, 2 for $3.
I feel warmer already. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Video with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, Google, Monday through Friday.
Back, Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. We go from one Hall of Famer that I love talking baseball with, Al McCoy, to another Hall of Famer that I love talking basketball because he's much kind to me, but he's no filter in his own way, but great and direct. And I always learn something when he's kind enough to come on the show. One of the great big men in the UK Athletics Hall of Fame. He is still the last. Think about this. To average plus and 10 rebounds plus in 2 consecutive seasons. And I love throwing it as I'm old, Jim. I like the younger people to know that there's some beautiful history and we shouldn't forget a lot of people, and you happen to be one of them. How are you joining me?
Oh, I'm doing great. Appreciate you having me on.
Tell me about this team. I'm throwing in the towel. I can't figure them out. I just can't. But I actually see a glimmer of hope that they've learned something, that there's actually 40 minutes to a basketball game. So have they driven you a little crazy? I use the word called mashugana, which is a little crazy.
No, not really, because what you got to put in context is what this team has gone through this year. Look, they've got 3 starters sitting on the bench. These are the offensive guys who are supposed to be firepower. Well, they're not there. Then we went through of ins and outs with like Jalen. He's hurt. Then he says, well, I'm going to try to go in. Then he comes back. And then everything gets disrupted. Patient. I don't know how Mark has managed to deal with the rotation like he has. But this last go-round, you look at, there's 2 guys that are playing today, Trent Noah and Young, are playing that if these other guys, probably.
You know, and I love Noah. He has this, I wish they would set this for him. I'm a little old school. If you could say, you probably count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi time. Go look at tape of Jim Man. He wasn't just 6'10", but he was physical. He's got a nose basketball that's crazy. His numbers per minute is crazy. He has this affinity for picking up a loose ball. And he'll just, let it rip. I've always thought if he got time, and you're right, he wouldn't see any clock at all. He wouldn't see any clock at all.
Right.
But the kid's not the quickest guy in the world. I don't care, because not everybody's the quickest guy in the world. But I think he's a basketball player. And I think he's a basketball player, and he can put the ball in the hole.
And he's got a lot of heart. That's the thing. When he goes in and he's battling with 100% of what he to give. And that's one of the things I like about him. And one of the things I think's been missing with his team in these rotations, when these guys come in, I never get the impression that they're always ready to play and having a good time. And all of a sudden, Mark goes, "You're in." You're in, and they kind of look up and go. And then they go in, and they're not really sure what they're doing or where they're going. But a lot of that is past. Winning 6 out of 7 games, that's pretty good, I think. And the beat. I said this a couple before they ever played Vandy. I said they were talking about Arkansas bypassing Vandy like we were already going. I said we match up so much better with Arkansas than we do with Vandy, and it's true.
You look at Bruce in a short snippet. I mean, he's only played 17 games, and he started 3. That was early on. He's only playing 12 minutes a game, but he's shooting Okay, 43% from the field. I think it'd be better if he played more. I'm not making excuses for him, but he's shooting 40. If I round it up, he's shooting 41% from threes and 82% from the free throw line. And I'm not being Jim, but I think if he played more, he'd be a little more comfortable shooting. It's just a feeling I have. But you played, you tell me.
Shooters have got to have a rhythm, and by him coming in, playing 2 and 3 minutes at a pop, and not being able to find that rhythm, I think it makes it very difficult. I think you're absolutely right.
You know, to me, not saying he's the best player in the history of Kentucky basketball. I'm not even saying he's the best player on the team or one of the best players in the last 10 years. But in the last 5 minutes of this 7-game stretch, there hasn't been a player in my mind, disagree or please give me your thought. There hasn't been a player that has been more clutch than Chandler. Assists, steal, big shots. A couple. He's 1 for 9. And 1 for 9. How many guys would say not today? And he throws up a shot from south of Danville and hits a big 5 minutes. I don't know how that. And he's smart. And he's in the last 5 minutes. If he's not in the game, I figure he's got a turned ankle. I shouldn't say that. Thanks, Jim.
Guys, again, he's got to be in with a certain amount of rhythm. And shooters don't stop shooting. They're going to keep shooting because they know at some point they're going to 3 in a row. So with Chandler, but for me, I think best athletes on the team, if not in the last few years.
Why does he have enough respect for that? I think when he had that dunk where he was, it wasn't as good as Minifield's dunk in the same ballpark. Minifield,
yeah.
That was like out of this world.
Yes.
You remember his dunk against Elevator himself. But dunk was spectacular. And after that, people said, I had no idea he was athletic. Well, you've seen him jump before. And I just wonder if people say, he's from Utah, this and that. You can't. Yeah. It's nonsense. Either an athlete or you're not.
Yeah, you got that right. And I think the scouting report would tell me these other teams play him. The whole idea is to get a body on him. Don't let him get airborne. He gets airborne, you're in trouble. And especially with he's within 5 feet of the basket.
This is a comment I've made before about for example, one of the things that Reed Sheppard, he was good here when he did it. He's much better in the NBA. I've watched a bunch of Reed. He is spectacular at using the space, and he doesn't need a lot of space because he can jump. I think he jumps higher than that. It looks like it, but he can jump. And this is not like, well, he didn't learn it because you're a basketball, and he's working on stuff and he's improving his craft. I know what I would do if I'm Chandler. What are you doing dribbling wise? If Chandler can dribble the ball close to way Reed can with his ability, he'd be a ferocious, dangerous scorer. Reed now gets shots when you're going. There's no space. He creates space when there's no space.
Yeah, and the one thing that he does that I don't see many of our players do, and that's when you have the ball and you put the dribble down, you need to have some place to go. You just don't dribble for the sake of dribbling, as I guess say. Reed Sheppard, when he gets the ball, he takes his first step is going someplace. Our guys will stand there and just dribble the ball at their feet and not go anywhere. No, you can't do that. Coach Rupp used to always say to us, and so did Coach Hall, is that after you get done dribbling the ball and you picked it up, he says, "Now where are you going?" And the whole idea is you need to have some place to go. And I don't see many of those guys do that, particularly when you have a good defense. We've had the last few ball games, and us out of our offense. You need to then. I see so many times the guys out on the top of the key or in the corner on the ball, and the other 4 guys are watching the game. They're not going anywhere. They're not cutting.
To me, that's not just a Kentucky thing. I see that in basketball today all over. And I wonder, that's a fundamental that was drummed in your head by Rupp and Joe B. that's not being pushed enough by coaches today. I'm not knocking any coaches today or anything like that. But certain things get passed on and certain things improve. Being done today, that was better. But I do think some stuff done in the good old days that should be brought back a little bit. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. They have today, we didn't have then, is this time restriction, where they're only allowed to have so many misses and so much that they can do. And it just takes away from fundamentals. That's what I play today, not only just with the board, is these kids just don't have the fundamentals. Catching is a fundamental. Knowing and how to catch it is also a fundamental. And with a lot of players, and in particular this team, when you throw a pass into a big guy, you throw it away from the defense. You don't throw it to the side. And I don't see our players doing that. The other, if you're the player, you want the ball. You stick your hand out, and you have to be able to catch the ball and throw the ball to that spot.
Is it possible this is a stereotype that's been out there for years, that with ESPN for years and that kind of stuff and making the top 10 plays? Do you believe, and this is Kentucky, this is a general, you can make it about Kentucky, but I don't think it's about Kentucky at all. But do you believe, and you're not some older gentleman, I'll call me an old goat, Jim, I'm not going to call old goat. Do you believe as an older gentleman that the fundamentals in the game aren't the same as it was?
Oh, I think it's very fair. I know that we would spend every practice for 30 minutes. This is every practice. We worked on fundamentals, passing, catching, dribbling, cutting, doing the things that we would have to do on the that were fundamentals.
I'm not really trying to point fingers, but where does that come from? Is it coaches not caring? Coaches care. So for me, I think that's disingenuous. I'm going to rip myself here, if that's okay, Jim. Yeah. But it's like, I think that's a nicer and fairer way to put it.
Well, I think what happens today is the coaches sit down and they put together a practice, and they've got a timesheet. For 10 minutes, we're going to do this. For 20 minutes, we're going to do this. And they go down the list of the things that they want to work on. And when it gets down to the things that they feel are more important, whether it's working out some kind of a play or practice, the fundamentals are getting pushed down the list. And I think those are things that they think about, like free throw shooting. I don't know that they work on free throw shooting in practices. I think it's some players to do on their own. And I think a lot of these other fundamentals are very similar into how they are incorporated into the practice. I just don't think they have the time.
I think that's exactly what's going on. But here's the point, and maybe I'm not respecting the fact that they have the 20-hour rule, and they do tell the kids to come back on their own. And a lot of these kids are shooting a ton of free throws on their own. There are, and they're working on the shot. I'm not calling any of these kids lazy, because it's, first of all, it's not true. So I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression. But okay, if I'm the coach and my team shoots 66%, and Kentucky's not the only one, but I harp on free throws all the time on my show. It's been a pet peeve of mine for years, and it gets stronger and stronger all the time. Kentucky's lost a couple games because of free throws. Kentucky lost the national championship because of free throws. I won't say the player's name. I've said it many times because he's a great man and a great player. He just couldn't hit a free throw against Arizona. It happens, okay? And that's an aberration. It can happen. But the point is this. If you're a coach, and this has nothing to do with Pope or any other coach, this is a general comment, Jim. If you're a coach and there's a particular area where your team isn't good at, it's one thing if your team is shooting as a team 78, 79%. Okay, you don't have to do it. But if you're shooting, to me, 75% is par. If you can't shoot 75%, I think as a team you stink. That's me, and maybe I'm too old school, and that's okay. But if you're having that much trouble shooting free throws, shouldn't you squeeze out some time in practice to work on a weakness? Now, if it's a strength, I see leaving it alone. But it's a weakness for Kentucky. Cal even said we couldn't hit a free throw.
Yeah, and I watch these kids and what they're doing. Oweh has got a bad habit of stepping up for first free throw and what we call a short arm. He's not following through. And those things are things that you can practice. And you've got to do these things. You ever watch Macy and go back and watch the old films of Kyle? He did exactly the same thing on every free throw. He bent over, he wiped his hands, made sure he was dribbled so many times. He looked at the free throws. I don't see these kids do that. This, again, you're getting fundamentals of shooting.
How would you fix it?
Well, that's a great question. I thinks about it and works on it and tells the kids. I think a lot of it comes with, you got to be motivated to do it. It's like guys that play, what do? They go out and they practice the shot that they know how to do the best, whether it's a driver. and the same thing goes with these kids. They come out on the floor and they don't. I used to always think, and I would tell kids that I'd work with, is after you've gotten beat, or after the game is over, you didn't get beat, but after the game's over, I want you to think about the three things that happened to you that either cost you a basket or a turnover or whatever it was. And then on the next practice, things I want you to work on. And if it's free throw shooting with 08 making the first shot, as Coach Rope used to say to us, Jim, it's a free throw. and this is a free point, no clock stick to do, shoot and make it.
Yeah, I like it. It is a free throw. And I just can't stand to watch Kentucky if they lose the game because they shot 62%, 68%, 69%. It's one thing if you're losing 80-55. Okay. Yeah. You're losing, 78-74 and you shoot 68% or 66%, somebody shoots 78%. There's a difference. Do you believe there's plenty of hope for this team? Because if this thing is turned, there's plenty of hope. I just can't figure these kids out. But text in 38 seconds. And it was crazy. You've been there. How many crazy crowds were you at? There were crazy crowds, folks in the 70s too. Okay. Yeah. Crowds going crazy and they're into it. Now you're down. You're down to Arkansas. I said myself, I'm going, you know what? These kids played well. It's okay. The crowd's into it. They're going to lose the game. You can't complain about these kids at all. Stuff just that, right or wrong. That was my thought process. But I'm saying, okay, they didn't get blown out. They hustled hard from the beginning. Stuff happens. They're going to lose games, but not the way they've been losing games when they don't play the first course. I thought that comeback with the crowd going wild and crazy after they were down, after the three technicals to show the toughness, best sequence in basketball this year for Kentucky.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. But I want to go back real quick to the free throws. My wife always says when they're recruiting these kids and they're coming in, she goes, "Yeah, he's scoring the game, but can he shoot free throws?" She says that all the time, on the recruits. But getting back to these technicals,
I gotta stop that. I said that you married up,
but we're trying to keep it a secret.
1 minute, please go.
Yeah, just on these technicals, the other thing. I don't know if people know this or not, but there was an edict that went out from the office to the referees, and it told them to step up this chatter from players and coaches when it was directed to the referees and to call technicals. Well, you don't give that to a guy like Doug Shows. I mean, he takes that seriously. And, boy, that's exactly what happened, was that mandate from the office to begin looking at the way these players are talking to each other or talking to other players, that was they were called down on that. These officials were.
I've really complained about Shows. Am I wrong? Do you think he's a really good official? Am I wrong?
No, I've never thought he was a good official. He's a pretty good official, but what he does, he has what I call rabbit ears. He hears everything that's going around, and he takes it to heart, and he just needs to go out. I've talked to Larry Conley. Larry Conley years ago was colleagues, and I used to complain about Doug, but he always said he's a good official. And I said, I'm not questioning whether he's a good official. Bad, like Clottery, but he was consistently bad on both ends of the floor.
Yes, that's true.
You can play with a guy like that, and because you know what's coming. You know where their faults are. Doug Shows is a different. I'd like to see press conferences after the ball game with the officials.
Amen. I've said this since the 1980s. Amen. 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 And Cutler was a really nice man.
Wonderful guy. Wonderful guy.
His position is, I think, why he survived all those years. And you knew he wasn't trying to succeed. No. Just at times was bad for both sides.
I agree.
If I said you're married up, even though she knows.
She's listening.
Oh, okay. She's smiling. Bless you for joining me. Love to see your face and smile. And knowledge is absolutely first class. And thank you for sharing it with me and us.
Love doing it, Alan. Anytime.
Thanks, man. Have a great